boys and girls! We meet again in another lesson of Year 4 Mathematics from iTTV. It's good to see you. I'm your tutor, Puyi. In the previous lesson, we have learned about the volume of 3D shapes. Come, let's check the answers to the questions that I've given you. Number 1, fill in the table based on the diagram below. Here we have two shapes, and we have to fill in the table. For shape A, name of the shape, it's cube. For shape A, length, name of the shape, it's cube. The length and height 6 centimeters. Are the same. So 60 cm and 6 cm and height. So for the volume, we have 216 cubic centimeter. B, name of the shape is cuboid. Length 10 centimeters, width 2 centimeters and height 5 centimeters. Now to calculate the volume, we take the length times width times height. That will give us 100 cubic centimeters. Number 2, the diagram shows a tank that is filled with some water. The volume of water is 1050 cubic centimeters. Find the value of H. Now, to calculate the volume, we need the length times breadth times height. Now, let's fill in the measurements that we already know. For volume, we have 1050 cubic centimeters and length 30 centimeters, width or the breadth 5 centimeters and the height is H. So 30 times 5 gives us 150. H is therefore 1050 divided by 150. So the answer for H is 7 centimeters. Number 3, the diagram shows a block of sponge. How many cubes with sides of 2 centimeters can be cut from it? Now let's calculate the volume of the whole block of sponge first. We have 2 centimeters times 12 centimeters times 20 centimeters. That will give us 480 cubic centimeters. What about the volume of a cube? Now we want to cut a cube with sides of 2 centimeters, alright? So the length, breadth and height are the same. 2 centimeters times 2 centimeters times 2 centimeters. That gives us 8 cubic centimeters. To find out the number of cubes that can be cut out from the block, now number of cubes, that is a whole number, that means there is no unit. We just take the whole numbers, yeah? 480 for the whole block of sponge divided by 8, the volume of 1 cube, alright? Now that will give us 60. That means we can cut out 60 cubes from the whole block of sponge. That is our answer. Number 4, the diagram shows a cuboid formed by cubic building blocks. What is the volume of the cuboid? Now, let's find out the volume of 1 cube first. 4 centimeters times 4 centimeters times 4 centimeters, right? The length, breadth and height are the same. So the volume is 64 cubic centimeters. Now what about the number of blocks? We have 3 layers of 8 pieces of blocks, right? So that's 3 times 8, 24. 24 blocks. Now we can find out the volume of the cuboid. 24 blocks times the volume of each cubic block, okay? 64 cubic centimeters. Now that will give us 1536 cubic centimeters. That is our answer. There you go, boys and girls, the answers to the questions from the previous lessons. How many correct did you get? Okay, be careful next time, alright? Now, let's move on to a new lesson for today. Welcome back, boys and girls. Today we'll start with a new chapter on data handling. Now, in our daily lives, we come across a lot of information and we can use graphs to help us to display some information. So, in these 2 lessons, I will be teaching you about graphs. We will be learning about 2 main types of graphs, pictographs and bar graphs. For pictographs, we have the horizontal pictograph and vertical pictograph. For bar graph, we have the horizontal bar graph and the vertical bar graph. For today, we will focus on pictographs. Take a look over here. Now this is an example of horizontal pictographs. Okay? Why do we call it a pictograph? Now in pictographs, we use pictures to represent the units of items that we are measuring. Alright? Now why do I say this is a horizontal pictograph? You see, the pictures are arranged horizontally. It goes across like this whenever we have more units. Okay? Now, this is the title. Number of fruits sold by Uncle Cheng. Alright? And here we have the different types of fruits And we have pictures here. What does each picture represent? We take a look. One picture represents 5 fruits. This is what we call the key. The key, okay? And the baseline is shown here. Now, let's see. For apple, how many pictures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pictures. And each picture represents 5 fruits. So how many apples are sold by Uncle Cheng? We will take 6 times 5. That is 30 fruits. 30 apples were sold. Okay? So that is how we interpret the data from a pictograph such as these. Now take a look. Mango. Mango has the most number of pictures, right? See? It extends up to right here. What about the least? Papaya. There are only 2 pictures here. 2 pictures, what do they stand for? Each picture represents 5 fruits. Therefore, 2 pictures will be 10 fruits. 10 papayas. Okay? Now, from this pictograph, we can gather a lot of information. And I have some questions prepared for you. Let's try to answer it based on this pictograph. Answer the following questions based on the pictograph given. Which fruit was sold the most and how many of it were sold? Alright, let's take a look at our pictograph. Now, I've given you the hint just now. Which fruit was sold the most? We look at the most number of pictures. It will be mango, right? Mango has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pictures. From the key, we know that one picture represents 5 fruits. So how many mangoes were sold? 8 pictures, right? So that will be 8 times 5. That equals 40. 40 fruits. That means 40 mangoes were sold. That is our answer. Mango and 40 mangoes. Okay, we're doing good so far. Let's try another question. Which fruit was sold the least and how many of it were sold? I've given you the answer as well just now, right? So we look for the fruits with the least number of pictures. Which one is it? Papaya, right? 2 pictures only. But this is not 2 fruits, yeah? We have to look at the key. Each picture represents 5 fruits. So papayas will be 2 pictures. Therefore, 2 times 5 equals 10. 10 papayas were sold. So our answer will be papaya and 10 papayas were sold. Number 3. What is the total number of oranges and lemons sold? Now we want to find the total for oranges and lemons. So let's count how many pictures are there first. For orange, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And we add those for lemon. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pictures altogether, the total. But 8 pictures represents how many fruits? Okay, so we know that one picture represents 5 fruits. So the total of oranges and lemons are 8 pictures. Therefore, 8 times 5 equals 40. 40 fruits, right? So that is our answer. 40 oranges and lemons. Number 4, fill in the blank. Uncle Cheng sold how many mangoes more than lemons? Now, over here, can you see that we are trying to find the difference? Difference means subtraction, right? So first of all, we have to find the number of mangoes and then the number of lemons. Then we find the difference. Let's start with the mango. Okay, now mango, how many pictures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pictures. That will be 8 times 5 equals 40. 40 mangoes. Now what about lemons? Let's take a look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pictures. 4 pictures is 4 times 5 fruits, which is 20 fruits. To calculate the difference, take 40 fruits for mango minus 20 fruits for lemons. So we have 20 fruits. So the answer is 20. Uncle Cheng sold 20 mangoes more than lemons. Number 5. The price of an apple is 60 cents. Calculate the price of all the apples sold. Right? Now, let's take a look at the apples. How many pictures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pictures. Now, one picture represents 5 fruits. So how many apples do we have? 6 times 5 equals 30. 30 apples were sold. Now we know that the price of an apple is 60 cents, so 30 apples, that would be 30 times 60 cents. That will give us 18 ringgit. That is our answer, 18 ringgit. But boys and girls, do you realize that, I just want to draw your attention to this point, right? Now do you realize that one picture can represent more than one item? Yeah. Take note, yeah? The key is very important. Sometimes one picture represents one unit. For example, here, one fruit. But it can also represent more than one. Like in this pictograph, one picture represents 5 fruits. Okay? So it's very important for you to take a look at the key, even though it's so small and hidden at the bottom. Alright? I've shown you a horizontal pictograph. Now let's move on to a vertical pictograph. Ta-da! Here it is! Now this is a vertical pictograph. It shows the same information as the horizontal pictograph that you've just seen, okay? Now notice that in a vertical pictograph, the pictures are stacked upwards. It goes up vertically. So that is the difference between a horizontal and a vertical pictograph. Alright? For the horizontal pictograph just now, the fruits were arranged from left to right. Okay? For each row. Now, it's from bottom to up. This is a vertical pictograph. The other elements are the same, yeah? You have the title, the baseline, and the key. Now I have another vertical pictograph here. Take a look. Now what is the title of this vertical pictograph? Number of roses sold in Rose Garden. Okay? Now, look at the pictures. Tell me from the key, what does one picture represent? One picture represents a dozen of roses. Now, do you know what is a dozen? A dozen means 12. So a dozen of roses means 12 stalks of roses. Alright, let's take a look. We have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now for Sunday, we have 4 pictures. 4 pictures, what does it stand for? One picture represents a dozen of roses. So 4 pictures would be 4 dozens of roses, okay? And then Monday, we have 1 picture. Tuesday, we have 3 pictures. Wednesday, 2 pictures, which stands for 2 dozens. And Thursday, we have 3 pictures, or 3 dozens. Now, it is the same as for the horizontal pictograph. We can get a lot of information from this graph too. Come, let us try out a few questions. Answer the following questions based on the pictograph given. Number 1, how many stalks of roses were sold on Wednesday? Alright, now the question wants us to find how many stalks. Now let's take a look. Wednesday. Where is it? Wednesday. Here it is. Now Wednesday, number of roses sold. Let's check. We have 1 picture and 2 pictures. Each picture represents a dozen of roses. 2 pictures would therefore be 2 times 1 dozen, which is 2 dozens. Now how many stalks are there in 2 dozens of roses? 2 times 12. That is 24. 24 stalks of roses. So that is our answer. 24 stalks of roses were sold on Wednesday. Take a look at this next question. On which days were the number of roses sold the same? Now here, let's take a look at the pictograph. Do you notice there are 2 days with the same number of pictures? That means they have the same number of roses sold on those 2 days. Where is it? Can you see that on Tuesday there are 3 pictures? And Thursday too, there are 3 pictures. So, on Tuesday and Thursday, the number of roses sold are the same. So that is our answer, Tuesday and Thursday. Number 3, what is the difference between the number of stalks of roses sold on the day with the highest sales and the day with the lowest sales? So in a pictograph, we want to see which day has the most number of pictures and which day has the least number of pictures, okay? That would point us to the answer. Now, as I can see here, Sunday. Sunday has the most number of pictures. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 pictures. What does 4 pictures represent? 4 pictures represent, now each picture represents 1 dozen of roses. 4 pictures would therefore be 4 dozens of roses. Now what about the day with the least number of pictures? take a look. Monday. Monday has only one picture, and one picture represents a dozen of roses. So, one picture is 1 dozen of roses. Now, what is the difference of the number of stalks sold? Let's count it in dozens first. Okay? So, Sunday we have 4 dozens. Monday we have 1 dozen. The difference would be 4 dozens minus 1 dozen equals 3 dozens. Now, how many stalks of roses are there in 3 dozens? So, we take 3 times 12. That will give us 36. 36 stalks of roses. That is our answer. Remember, yeah? If you are asked to give the answer in stalks, you have to multiply by 12. Number 4. The price of all the roses is 106 ringgit and 60 cents. Calculate the price of 1 dozen of roses. Now notice that over here we want to calculate the price of 1 dozen of roses, not 1 stalk of rose, okay? Now we are told that the total is 106 ringgit and 60 cents. How many dozens are there? Let's calculate. How many pictures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So what does 13 pictures represent? We know that 1 picture represents 1 dozen of roses. 13 pictures would therefore be 13 dozens of roses. So the price of 13 dozens of roses equals 106 ringgit and 60 cents. To find the price of 1 dozen of roses, I will take 106 ringgit and 60 cents divided by 13. I'll calculate using long division and I will get the answer 8 ringgit and 20 cents. That is the price of 1 dozen of roses. Rose Garden sold 30 stalks of roses to Hill Hotel on Sunday. How many stalks of roses were sold to other customers that day? Come, let's take a look at Sunday. Sunday, how many dozens of roses were sold? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pictures, 4 dozens of roses. Now, 4 dozens of roses, how many stalks are there? 4 times 12 equals 48 stalks of roses. If 30 stalks were sold to Hill Hotel, therefore, the number of roses sold to other customers is 48 minus 30. That is 18. So our answer is 18 stalks of roses. Okay, boys and girls, look, isn't it true that from one pictograph we can gather so much of information? Now let's take a break from pictographs and go to It's That Simple. Two girls are competing in a chess competition in their school. Both girls won and it is not a tie. How is that possible? Okay, boys and girls, do you have the answer? Have you encountered such situation before? Here is the answer and the explanation to this. The girls are not playing with each other in the competition. They are still in the rounds where they are playing with other contestants. They are not playing with each other. Therefore, we can have 2 winners in that round. So in this brain teaser, we have to think critically, okay? Now, why don't you grab your pen and paper? I'm going to give you some questions on pictographs to try on your own. Number 1. Answer the following questions based on the graph below. A. What was the second highest number of cakes sold? And what cake was it? B. Find the difference between the highest and lowest number of cakes sold. C. What is the type of graph shown below? D. If the price of each cake is 13 ringgit and 50 cents, calculate the price of all the cakes sold. Number 2. Answer the following questions based on the graph below. A. How many books do 2 pictures represent? B. Which week had the least number of books borrowed and how many books were borrowed? C. What is the total number of books borrowed in a month? D. Students from class 4C borrowed 35 books on week 2. How many books were borrowed by other students? 3. Answer the following questions based on the graph below. A. Sharp Supermarket sold a total of 48 umbrellas during the 3 days. How many umbrellas were sold on Tuesday? B. How many pictures should be used to represent the number of umbrellas sold on Tuesday? Okay, boys and girls, we have come to the end of our lesson. But let's recap first. Now today we have learned about pictographs. Two types of pictographs that we have learned: horizontal pictograph and the vertical pictograph. So over here is an example of horizontal pictograph that we used. This is the title, number of fruits sold by Uncle Cheng. And we have the key here, which is very important. Yeah, it tells us what each picture represents. And we have the baseline. Now, remember, for horizontal pictograph, the pictures are arranged from left to right. Yeah, vertical will be from bottom to up. Remember that each picture can represent one unit or more. Yeah, so it's very important for us to read from the key. So, I'll see you again in the next lesson. Make sure you try out all the questions, yeah? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.